the Japanese rail network, known to be one of the most sophisticated rail systems in the entire world. However, the system isn't 100% perfect, as with anything, but one such accident would reveal a dark secret about the culture of Japanese rail. On April 25, 2005, West Japan Railway Company Train 5418M is running a limited service between Takarazuka Station to Amagasaki on the Fukuchiyama line. The train was powered by 7 207 series EMU cars. The cars were Kuha 207-17, Moha 207-31, Moha 206-17, Kuha 206-129, Kumuha 207-1033, Saha 207-1019, and Kuha 206-1033. It's rush hour, and the train is packed with around 700 passengers, many barely having room to squeeze in. 23-year-old Ryojiro Takami was the driver that day. He had been a driver for 11 months at the time. At approximately 8:54 a.m., as the train reaches Tsuguchi Station, a warning goes off indicating the engineer is approaching a red signal. Automatic Train Stop, or ATS, stops the train before running past the signal. When the train is underway again, it is now 15 seconds late. By other countries, doesn't seem too bad, but for the Japanese, that's a very late train, as passengers need to make their connections to the second. At Atami Station, another alarm goes off in the cab, indicating the train is approaching the station too fast. The driver either doesn't notice or just ignores it. However, he soon slams the brakes, but because of his late reaction, the train overshoots the platform by more than 3 cars. The engineer then has to back up the train again to the correct position, and by the time the train departs at 9:16 a.m., it is running approximately 1 minute 20 seconds late. The engineer then began to speed again to 125 kilometers an hour, or 78 miles an hour, compared to the speed limit of 120 kilometers an hour, or 75 miles an hour. The train is now approaching the curve just before Amagasaki Station, which has a speed limit of 70 kilometers an hour, or 43 miles an hour. However, no ATS warning goes off to slow or stop the train due to a glitch in the speedometer reader in the cab. The engineer hits the service brake when he hits the curve, realizing the speed he's at, when all of a sudden, the train crashes into an apartment block near Amagasaki Station at 9:19 a.m. The lead car flips onto its side and plows into the parking garage of the apartment complex. The second car suffered the worst damage, being crushed into an L shape on the outside of the building. The third and fourth cars are squished upon the second car, but remain upright and suffer minimum damage, but are now sitting diagonal, blocking the 2 tracks. The rest of the train remained on the tracks undamaged. In total, 107 people died, including the driver Takami. 562 people sustained injuries. It is one of the worst accidents on Japanese rail since the Hakiko Line derailment in 1947, which killed 184 people. An investigation was launched by the Japanese Transportation Safety Board, or JTSB. In their report, they note that in 1997 that the West Japan Railway Company, or JR West for short, tightened the curve at Amagasaki from 600 to 304 meters for a better connection into Osaka. They also tightened the schedule more, and the Fukuchiyama line then became one of the most tightest schedules in that part of Japan. However, this was excusable, as the investigation then firmly pointed the finger at the driver for speeding into the curve. But was the driver really at fault? In 2004, shortly after becoming a driver, Takami had overrun a platform by 100 meters, and as a result was sent on a re-education program for 13 days. However, the term re-education couldn't have been used ever so loosely as in this situation. J.R. West's re-education programs include things like managers berating the drivers for their actions, financial penalties, and instead of doing their normal jobs or being effectively retrained as one would think, drivers do menial tasks like write long essay-like reports a page an hour, polishing rusting rails, and even cleaning up stations of litter and pigeon droppings. To add insult to injury, workers are never told how long their retraining lasts, and the tasks they need to do are given to them without notice. Not to mention, the financial penalties are worse the longer it goes on. The J.R. West Workers Union claimed that this was more like abuse and punishment of workers, not retraining or re-educating them. But J.R. West would do nothing about it. At the time of the accident, when the driver ran the red signal, conductors are ordered to report the incidents immediately to the control center, and they need to be exact as possible. However, the conductor of 541-8M only did so after the overrun at Itami, and he also stated to the control center that the driver had only overran 8 meters past the platform, not 30 to 40 meters, as requested by the driver, so he could face a less severe punishment. The driver, Takami, was likely afraid of facing the re-education program once again, which led to him speeding up to make up for lost time. But why did he not use the emergency brake when he realized he was about to crash? Well, using the emergency brake is also something that must be reported, so he used the weaker service brake instead, which is supposed to be used when slowing or stopping at stations, which led to the accident. In the end, the 2 leading cars of 541-AM were scrapped, while the rest were repaired and put back into service. The Ministry of Land and Transportation asked all the railway companies to update their automatic train stop systems so that trains can brake automatically or to slow down as they approach sharp curves, much like positive train control in the United States. On December 26, 2005, Takeshi Kachikuchi, the president of J.R. West, officially resigned in a move to take responsibility for the accident. A memorial was also put in place at the crash site, and the J.R. West website, as of 2018, still has a mention of the accident, saying, "We will never forget the Amagasaki rail catastrophe caused on the 25th of April, 2005. And now that 14 years have gone by, we certainly won't forget." J.R. West, however, still practices its brutal re-education program as of today, and there hasn't been much changed about it. Has J.R. West not learned the lessons of Amagasaki yet? One would pray an accident like this is never repeated.